Good morning, dear Sangha. So this morning we will have a session of questions and response from four of us up here. We are the Dharma teachers aspirants. We're not Dharma teacher yet, but we are in training. So this is a part of our training. We will sit here and then we will try our best to respond to your questions. And as you hear the announcement, we will answer the questions in both Vietnamese and English. Our two sisters will answer the questions in Vietnamese. We will try to answer in English. So please get the translation unit if you need. And after the questions and answer sessions, if you're still not satisfied with our answers, you can always come to our elders, Dharma teachers, for further response. Before we begin, I would like to introduce to you our panelists up here. On my left is Brother Trời Đạo Sơn, Brother Mountain. He was here about almost a year, 6 months, from Upper Hamlet, France, Plum Village, France. And he will receive the lamp transmission at the end of June this year. And on my right is Sister Thang, Sister August Moon, Moon of August, which is the brightest full moon in the whole year. She is Vietnamese. She's from Huế. And on the far right is Sister Thanh, also Sister Mountain. She's also Vietnamese. She's from Quảng Trị in central Vietnam. And I'm Brother Nam Sắc, Brother Five Colors. I'm also Vietnamese. I'm from north of Vietnam. And our teacher always tell us that a good question is a question from the heart. And it's related to our daily life, the thing that is stick in our heart, how to generate and nurture our wholesome energy, like happiness, peace, solidity, joy, freedom, and to transform the suffering, the pain, the difficulties that are inside of us and around us. And those questions not only benefit ourselves, but can also benefit for others, because there are many others have the same, encounter same situations as us, as what we encounter. So the question that you ask, not just for yourself, but it's also for those who are in the same situation. We only have about an hour, so if you already have a question from your heart, you please come up here and queue up so we can save time. So we will begin with 3 sounds of the bell, and if you already have your questions, please come up.
Dạ, con Cà Mạch Sông, con kính thưa quý thầy, quý sư cô và đại gia đình.
Dear respected
Dạ, trước
Thầy,
khi vào buổi vấn
dear
đáp
brothers
thì
and
con
sisters, dear big
đối với
family,
bản thân con thì con
before
xin
we
thành
start
thật
our
chia
questions
sẻ
and
về
responses session, for me personally, I would like to practice. I'd like to share a few words.
Con sẽ nói ngắn thôi ạ.
I try to be
Dạ,
brief.
đối với bản thân con thì con dạ, câu hỏi nào mà con không trả
For
lời được
me
thì con
personally,
xin phép không có trả lời. Còn câu
any
hỏi nào
questions that
mà
I'm not
con
able
trả lời
to
được
answer, I'd
thì
like
con
to ask
con
permission
sẽ
not
có
to
thể trả
answer.
lời. Và với sự nói năng của
For the
con thì
question that I
không có
see
giỏi
that I
lắm. Nên
I can
con
respond, I
chia
will
sẻ
practice.
điều gì mà nó còn lặp
And
lại á,
I know that I'm
thì
not
mong
good
quý thầy, quý sư cô và đại gia đình
at
thông cảm cho con.
responding.
Và con cũng
So if
sẽ cố gắng thực tập
ever
thêm
I
trong lúc con
become
chia sẻ
repetitive,
câu hỏi ạ.
please bear
Con
with
kính
me.
cảm ơn đại chúng đã lắng nghe.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you so much. This is my first time, so if I mess it up, I'm sorry. I have a question that's been on my mind for several years. Okay, is that better? How do you deal and cope with sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, bullies, people that attack you? How do you cope and deal?
Your question is, how do you cope with the people who bully you, sociopath, those who have created suffering to you or to the person you know? I personally don't have the experience about being bullied when I was in school, but I've seen news, stories, heard stories from many people, and how suffer they are. So, and as I grow up in the Dharma, as I practice, and then as I listen to our teachers' teaching, we look at everyone, not just who they are, not just that person, the physical form in front of us, but we also have to see further we see their backgrounds, we see that where they have grown up, and that's also play a very important part of their behaviors, because there are many people, they don't have a very peaceful childhood like we have. They either lost one of their parents or both. They grew up in the environment that nurturing the violence, the fear, the jealousy, or the environment that they live currently generate those energies inside of them. Maybe because from their boss, from their colleagues, from their friends, from their families. So everything has their conditions. Everything comes together to be manifest as an action or a word. And of course, it takes a lot of time to be calm enough and to be solid enough to look deeply into that part of the person. But when you can see like that, oh, because of this, and that's why that person have that action or have that saying. And it's also because of me, I did something that is trigger something in their past memory that they came up with, and it triggered their actions. So it's not just 100% them, but it's also come from part of us. We might did something unconsciously, unintentionally. It might create suffering, that trigger that suffering inside of them, that memory inside of them, and then they say it like that. And it's also because they didn't have the attention that they supposed to have in the past. So that why, but they don't know how to take care and to transform the suffering, the loneliness inside of them. So that's why they did like that, or they said like that, in order just to let us know that, oh, I am here. Please pay attention to me. But because they don't know how to say or how to do it nicely, so that's why they did differently. Yeah. And so we have to also look like that in order to give rise to compassion, to love toward that person, even though that person is a complete stranger to us, but we can still give rise to compassion because we know the reasons, the motivations behind their actions, behind the words. That is my answer. I don't know if any brothers and sisters over here have other response.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, dear friend, thank you, brother. I don't know if I have experience with sociopath or psychopath. I don't know if I can recognize exactly, but I have experience with experiencing suffering, connection with an interaction with a person, and I always like to consider the inner child in myself who gets hurt, who gets scared. I can easily maybe get scared when I feel I'm receiving something from the other person and I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know if it will continue. How can I escape from this situation? And this voice is important. This voice is precious in myself. This little boy, I want to take some time to be with him, to make sure that I really hear what he has to say, this feeling. And for me, that really always has to happen in the body. That's why in our practice, we always, well, part of why we always come back to our body. Because this little boy up here, he goes a bit crazy. He gets lost in all the stories and he ends up ruminating easily and it doesn't really help. Like, oh, this person does that and that. I should have said that, I should have done that, maybe next time. All these kind of things from the past, from the future. But my body, in my body, there is the same voice, but it's different. It's really sharing its feeling. Like, how does it feel to receive this, whatever it is? This suffering, how does it feel? Maybe I don't even manage to put words on it. But I can spend time with it. I can get to know it a little bit. Have experience with it. And maybe with time, I can get my first freedom, which is, oh, I'm surviving it. Because it's been a while that I'm feeling it and I'm still there. So naturally, I'm surviving it. So I don't need to panic as much. That's a bit of freedom and a bit of solidity, a bit of strength. That's already happiness in itself. But also, maybe next time I see this person, or next time I'm in a similar situation, I don't react the same way. And then I can maybe have more space to do, like our brother was saying, to look deeply, what is happening? What is really happening in myself? What is really happening in the other person? I can have more compassion, more love, more respect, because I don't feel the need to reject their very existence, which sometimes can happen. And maybe I can have more solidity and strength to recognize that some things need to change. Maybe there are some boundaries to put. But I can do it not out of anger, not out of rejection, but just out of understanding that this is leading to suffering. And it's not great for the other person too. Yeah? So this ability to be with my feelings, to embrace them, to relax my body, to enjoy what is beautiful around me, that's for me a great source of freedom and great source of strength, solidity. That's important too. Thank you.
Let us listen to a sound of the bell before we ask your question.
I guess my question is related to, we all have like these worldly roles or like this identity, whether it's self-identity or being a son or this whatever your career is, like this worldly aspect of that we all hold to some degree, right? To be a human is to be a human, I think, in a lot of ways, and it's almost a dichotomy to me that there's a separation of, I guess, like to live in the world and find a balance in between these worldly roles that we hold and this presence. You know, we have these goals or these long-term sort of things, and then there's a dichotomy to me of the present, being fully present, and I think I struggle with balancing those two. You know, I can meditate and find that, or go to a retreat or something, but then day-to-day life at my work, or when I'm just not fully engulfed in this world, I'm engulfed in a different world, I lose track of, let's say, the mindfulness in general. And I think, like, as I get older, trying to find more balance in between the two, I guess, in theory. And I really appreciate both sides, and I don't want to give up either one fully, so.
Different, just trying to rephrase your question, or also for our brothers and sisters here. So we all have, in our daily life, we have some role or position that we have, like we are brother, sister, and we also want to be present and free in a way from these roles. So how can we balance in the better way?
The Buddha always say that the reality have two sides. One is conventional truth. The second is the ultimate truth. So conventional truth means there's I, and there's you, there's they, and there are mine, there's yours and theirs. We have this and that, black and white, red and blue. So those are conventional truth. And the ultimate truth is we interact. Everything that manifests because of everything else. A flower manifests because there's the sun, there's water, there's rain, the gardener, and the person who look at the flower. They interact. You take one of them out, then there will be no flower, or what we call as flower. So the role that you play in your life, either a father, a mother, a child, a manager, office worker, firefighter, many roles that we play, they're also conventional truth. It just speaks one aspect of you. But you are more than that. You are everything. But if we stick to that, what we call our job, our position, then we are denying the other parts of ourselves. we taking something that that it can be changed, that is impermanent, to be ourselves. Our job, our position can be changed. Our car can change. Our house can change. Our partner can change. So those things are not permanent. Why do we have to take that and pretend it to be our? So you're standing on a very unbalanced foundation. What you should do is you have to find the things that is very solid in order for you to stand on. You have to find things that, and you have to generate those and to nurture the things that is more solid than your title, your identity. Of course, in our daily life, we have to use those things in order to communicate. But we know underneath the things that we say, I am, you are, they are, he is, she is, many other things. There is a interbeing between us and others. In Buddhism, in Buddhist literature, we use a lot of images to explain the tendency to grasp to those unsolid things, like the finger point to the moon. So there's a person, there are two people. One person used the finger to point to the moon, to the other person to see the moon. But the second person look at the finger and think that finger is the moon. So is the finger actually the moon? No, it's not. So what you need to do is to look further than the finger to actually see the moon. It's like when you step on the third step and you think this is the highest step, then you cannot see the fourth step, the fifth step. So you have to let go of your idea, of your notions about what you see, what you hear, or what you perceive, in order to see furthermore. Your boss or your colleagues, they're not just your boss or your colleagues, they're also something else that you need to look further. You need to look more deeply. It's like the first questions. You need to see further to the background, to the environment that they grew up or they currently live, in order to understand more about that person, or more about you, or more about the objects that you perceive. Thank you.
Yes, Sangha. I think after this question, the sisters will answer the next question. I resonate a lot with your question. Somehow, I'm wearing my role every day. Being a monk. Yeah. It's been a whole journey for me to see how the robe kind of gets in. From being an aspirant and like feeling it very weird, just going to the supermarket for some reason. It's like, who am I? I look so weird. How are people looking at me? It's been, yeah, quite an experience. And then slowly feeling more at ease, and yeah, it's really year after year. It takes time. It took time for me, at least. And at the same time, yeah, there is some discomfort in this role in a way, because not maybe habitual from the get-go, but there is also a lot of beauty in it. I feel very nourished. Again, about aspirant time, I remember the first time putting on the robe, and felt like the robe was standing for me. The robe was breathing for me. And also just seeing people come to me and just ask, oh, wow, what are you? Are you a monk? Are you not a monk? Why do you want to be a monk? What's your aspiration? I felt I didn't have to do much to nourish people. I just have to wear the robe is doing the job. So please go and see our aspirants and ask them, why do you want to be a monk? And our young brothers too. And I really want to honor also, and I think in your questions there was this, like, these roles can be very beautiful, can be very nourishing, very precious. When I have this role as a son, I am part of the family. It's good for me, good for my parents, my brothers, sisters. It's good. As a younger brother, as an elder brother, I can also be supportive, can nourish the community, be part of the family. And so then it's all about balancing. And somehow this question about how to balance, it can come with any aspect of our life in the practice. Like, how do I balance self-discipline and aimlessness? How do I balance what? Yeah. Being in my role and also being free from this role. And I always find it tricky. I cannot tell you what is the right balance, even for myself. Putting words on it is not easy. But I've seen in my practice what kind of helps quite a lot is I can recognize more when I'm out of balance. And so I can see, oh, now I'm a bit too much in the role. I spend my time just giving advice. That's not really supportive anymore. And I feel a bit dry in that. Like, I cannot have this connection. Or actually, I spend so much time kind of defending my authentic self that I'm kind of fleeing away from the Sangha, from the community all the time, and I end up alone. It's not great either. And then I can see first truth, the first really kind of important aspect in Buddhist practice is what is the suffering? What is the thing that's not so great? Because then I know there is something I need to adjust. And slowly I can be more subtle in that. I can recognize better. I can recognize when I go in the direction of imbalance. Then I can avoid it a little bit. So that's my practice with these questions that are always there. The more we think about it, the more we try to understand, the more we encounter these questions. So, yeah, and then it becomes an art. Not only a technique, it's an art. Welcome to the path. We're all walking the same. Thank you for your question.
Happy Easter. Thank you for answering our questions. I had a sort of a practical question. To generate the energy of mindfulness, it is essential to slow down. That's what I feel. In our life where there's hurry, there's restlessness, it's very difficult to generate that energy. So in my day-to-day life, I've found, and it's something I'm sort of struggling with, is if I'm in a moment of mindfulness, peaceful, wherever I am, whether I'm in my kitchen or I'm in my bedroom, and then my family comes, my husband comes, my daughter comes with their restless energy, and they're in a hurry, and they want XYZ done pronto, instantly. And it's very difficult for me in that moment to maintain that peaceful, mindful energy. Instead of me converting their energy to peace and my mindfulness, it's them converting my energy to restlessness and hurry. And so any suggestions you can offer on how I can, what should be my practice, or what should I be doing in that moment would help. Thank you.
Dạ, con kính bạch sơn con.
Respected Thang,
Đại chúng. Thì khi con nghe câu hỏi
dear
của
Sangha,
cô,
dear community, when I listen to your question,
thì con biết cô đã thực tập lần mai,
I wonder
thực
if
tập
you
chánh niệm bao lâu rồi?
practice mindfulness for how long? How long have you been in the practice? You practice mindfulness.
Dạ. Khi con nghe
So when I
cô
listen,
chia sẻ về vấn đề về sự thực tập hay là về tình trạng mình sống ở ngoài đời,
what you
gia
shared
đình, con cái, và
about
phần
your
đó nó
day-to-day
làm cho
life,
mình không có bình an. Thì
the
bởi vì
energy,
cái sự thực tập của mình chưa được nhiều,
the energy of
cho
your
nên
family members affect your
nó làm cho mình dễ
energy,
lung lay. Bởi vì
your
sự thực
wish
tập
to
này chưa
generate mindful energy.
khi mà con nghe cô chia sẻ,
What
mình
came
thì
to
cô
me
mới
is that
đọc
it's because
sách
we
và chỉ mới
the
thực tập gần đây
mindful
thôi.
energy that we have
Bởi vì
established
khi
not
mình
strong, not solid, not steady enough,
khi
and
mình
that
đọc sách sư ông thì
would just
đó là mới
reading
tập
books
thôi.
is not enough to help us.
Và cái hạt
Yeah,
giống
'cause
đó
when we read books, it's
khi
the
mỗi
reading.
lần mình đọc thì mình được tự tẩm
And every time we
lời
read
pháp của thầy,
a book,
và trong mình đã có cái hạt
then
giống đó, chánh niệm, và mình mong muốn mình thực tập.
the teachings
vì
from Thay's
cái sự thực
books
tập của
have
mình nó
watered
đòi
the
hỏi
seed of
cần thời
mindfulness
gian
inside
mỗi
us.
ngày.
But in terms of
Và
practice,
cần
I see that
duy
the
trì
practice
cái sự thực tập
takes
thì lúc đó mình mới
time and takes training, and we need the
Bởi vì khi mình
steadiness, the
vận dụng
continuity,
thì
so that our practice can
dù là
become more stable.
những cái tác
And
những
if
gia
our
đình của
practice
mình,
is
con cái
stable,
của mình, hay
is
là hoàn
steady,
cảnh ở bên ngoài á,
even
họ
if
không có
the
tác động
environment,
vào cái sự thực tập
external
của mình.
environment is a little hurry and restless,
Cho nên
it wouldn't
cái sự thực tập
affect much
của mình còn chưa được
our
vững. Cho nên
groundedness.
mong cô
So
mình
the the answer is that is because the practice is not yet solid, is not yet steady. So I wish that you can maintain continuity in your practice. And we know that outside we don't have the favorable conditions, like we don't have enough fellow practitioners or those who practice the same way to support our practice. So I hope that, for example, you could arrange your time to make a time to come to the monastery to attend the day of mindfulness or attend retreats. Environment is very essential, very important, that supports and nurture our practice, because we are like the newcomer in the practice. We really need an environment of practice, and we really need fellow practitioners, like other people, other friends. They come to the monastery, to a practice center, because they wish to together create a collective practice, collective energy of practice. So when we want to help the other person, for example, to help our husband, our children, we should be the one who experience the practice first, and to cultivate, to strengthen the seed of mindfulness in us, so that the seed of mindfulness, the energy of mindfulness, can be strong and steady enough in us to help us not to be swayed, not to be affected by the environment, and then we are solid enough to help our husband, our children. And if your practice is solid, then you may like to form an environment of practice in your family. Yeah, or you may like to create a group of practitioners, or you may like to join a practice group where people can come regularly to practice and share, to share with one another about their practice and learn from one another. Yeah, so those are the conditions to help us maintain our mindful energy.
Thank you for having this. I guess I had two questions that are going through my mind, but I'll just ask one. How do you, sometimes we know ourselves through others, we seek approval from other people, and sometimes it's hard for us to sit with ourselves, trust ourselves, love ourselves without the approval with others. So we do more and do more to gain approval from others, whether it's our family, friends, and it's hard to sometimes sit with ourselves and not try to please others and feel content in ourselves. How do you deal with that issue internally?
Dear friend, the Sangha, I was wondering we could have a show of hand of who sometimes finds themselves in this situation. Right. So that's a very precious question. Thank you. We are breathing, dancing with this. So somehow what this tells me is that this tendency is very human, it's very natural. It's not a problem. We are social animals. We all want to be together, like the question before about the roles, and that's part of our life. It's not going to go away. It should not, I guess. We all want to fit together. And in this way, receiving kind of feedback, receiving inputs, whether it's good input or, some things that we can improve, that's part of human connection. We always do this consciously or unconsciously, I believe. So maybe that's one first aspect of the practice, to say, hello, I see you're here. I like this little boy inside. I see you're here, little boy. You want to, to have your dad maybe look at you and say, good, I see you, and it's okay. And maybe I can, when I breathe in, breathe out, be in contact with my body, I can recognize maybe a bit too much. Actually, running after this all the time, I'm not very free. Never satisfied, really, because it's never, the more we take refuge, the more we rely on the conditions, the more we are exposed to have it more or less, right? Conditions come and go. Even in the best world, conditions outside always just come and go. So ideally, we want to go in the direction of more self-reliance, a little bit. Not that we will ever be fully self-reliant, but gives a bit more freedom. So, again, when we have these feelings of lacking or longing for something, well, I can be with this feeling. It's not necessarily an obstacle to mindfulness. I like to think to myself that there's no obstacle to mindfulness. There are only objects of mindfulness. So if this difficult feeling happens and comes up, I can take it as an object of meditation. I can go for a walk with it. spend time with it, and get to know it, I see I survive. Yeah, I feel, it doesn't feel fully pleasant and fresh and happy. Maybe it feels, that's the best word I have for this kind of feeling. Yeah. And at the same time, did you enjoy the walk this morning? Right. I can still enjoy what is beautiful outside. That's been maybe one of my greatest realizations. It's not that I can be totally free from my suffering, but even when I'm suffering, I can still enjoy a light joke. Right? I can still enjoy, a ray of sunshine. Although sometimes it's too strong here, but from inside. It's beautiful, and I can enjoy it. That's already freedom. And then slowly, I get more resilience, right? Even when it comes up, I have space. I have space around it. And this space means I can understand it better. I can be with it deeper. I can see what is really happening because I'm not focusing my energy on trying to escape. I am okay. Solid. I am free. And it's beautiful. Something like that. And we don't do that alone. We all having the same kind of emotion, the same kind of practice and path. Thank you.
Dạ con Cầm Bạch Sông, con kính thưa. Dạ con Cầm Bạch Sông, con kính thưa.
Dear Thang, dear brothers and sisters, dear big family, I would like to practice. I'd like to respond to your question, how to practice self-acceptance. For me, if we are ourselves, we are already beautiful. We don't to seek for approval from other people. For me, in the society, it's a little bit different than life in the monastery. But for me, practice, whatever I can do to contribute to Sangha, to the community, my monastic community, I try my best. If the sisters praise me, then my answer would be, it's okay, no problem, because in me, I don't seek for approval. And I just give a very simple answer. Whenever I help my sisters, and when they thank me, I would just simply respond, it's no problem. And then I could add something like, whatever I can do in my capacity, I will just do it. For me, I don't even reminders. We receive reminders, inputs, or complaints. I also practice with those. If the reminders come from a good place of constructive reminders, then I take in with openness. Or if the reminders seem to be not very constructive, then I just recognize and I practice for myself. And I've tried practicing the best thing, what is best for myself. I don't need to seek for approval from outside. And, so that I know myself and I practice to cultivate self-love, love for myself. Whatever we can do in our capacity, that is the best. And to pressure ourselves. Yeah, I myself practice this. There are things that do not go our way, but I don't need to expect too much. I don't demand too much of myself. So that is my practice. I thank brothers and sisters in Sangha for your listening.
Dear friends, we'll have maybe one more questions because right after this we will have the 5 mindfulness training recitations. So we have time for maybe one more questions.
Thanks for having us. My question is about the walking meditation we just did. When we were going down, my mind was all over the place. I tried to count, but I was watching people. For an extrovert like me, it's very difficult to ignore people. I was relitigating my whole life, relationship, parents, work, everything. It was a mess. And then when we were walking back, I tried to pay more attention to counting steps. And for a second, it was an utter euphoria. And it caught me by surprise, so I just knocked myself off. But after that, I was like a druggie, and I don't use drugs. But like a druggie going for the next hit. I can do this again. And it happened again. It happened like 3 more times. And it was a very strange sensation because besides the euphoria, things kind of disappeared, but it just was still very strongly there. And I understand that it's all about being one. But to me, that was certainly part of it, but it was mostly euphoria. So my question is, what was that? And also, if I'm able to ride that wave, then what would have happened?
Con cảm ơn xong. Con kính thưa quý thầy,
Dear
quý sư
Thầy,
cô và gia đình. Dạ con xin
Dear
tiếp tục chia
family,
sẻ cái câu hỏi của
I'd
bạn
like
ạ.
to respond to your question.
Dạ, cho con xin.
Give me a second.
Dạ, đi thiền hành thì
Walking meditation
đối với con thì
for me
giúp cho con rất là nhiều khi mà trong lúc mình đi thiền hành.
walking
Và
meditation
con có
helps
trả
me
lời
a
được
lot.
ý của bác hay không? Thì con cùng chia sẻ cái thể nhỏ bé của con đối với bác.
I'm trying to share my little
Dạ, đối với con
insight.
thì đi thiền hành thì giúp cho mình rất là nhiều.
Walking meditation helps us a lot to help us dwell in the present moment.
Khi mình đi thiền hành như vậy, mình cảm thấy mình được rất là tự do.
Mindfully, we feel
Mình cũng
free.
có vững bằng bất cứ suy nghĩ,
We are not
công việc
caught in
hay là cái sự lo
the
lắng hay là cái sự
worries,
sợ hãi. Tại vì mình
attachment
đi
to
thì mình
work,
chỉ đi
or
thôi
not caught
và
in
theo dõi hơi thở của
fear,
mình.
anxiety,
Thì
for example, because what we do
mọi
is to
người
pay attention to our
tùy sự thực
breathing
tập của
and
mọi
our
người.
steps.
Những người nào
And it
mới
depends
thì
on each
mình chỉ thực tập một cái thôi là mình
people,
chỉ
each
bước chân.
person's practice.
Còn khi mà mình đã
Like,
nhuần nhuyễn rồi
well, like for
thì mình
example, for
hơi thở và bước chân.
newcomers, they
Thì
pay
đó
attention
giúp
to
mình
their
rất là
steps,
dễ.
or for those who are a little more experienced in the practice, then may
Và
like
mình cũng
to
cần
pay attention to their breathing
học lực
and
mình.
their steps. And please, once again,
Đi thiền hành
we
thì
don't
giúp cho
have to
mình tự do rất
pressure
là nhiều.
ourselves,
Tại vì có những lúc
because walking
con
meditation
cũng
brings us a lot of
vào trường hợp
joy and
có
freedom.
những lúc con mà bị công việc
Sometimes I am caught
lôi
by
con
work.
và con đi rất là
I'm
vội
carried
vàng và
away by the work,
con
so
đi
I
rất là
can
nhanh.
feel that
Và khi mà
I'm very hurried in my steps.
con
I
buông
walk
được rồi
fast.
thì con thực
But-
sự dừng lại cho chính bản thân mình. Dù
But
mình đi một mình
once
hay là
I am
đi hai bản
able
thân,
to
hay là đi 2 người
recognize,
hoặc 3 người,
I
thì
slow
mình
down,
cũng cảm thấy rất là tự do mà mình cũng có cái sự sợ hãi.
and then
Và khi
I
mình
touch
đi như vậy thì
freedom.
mình cảm thấy
I
tự
am
do
free
rất là
from
nhiều.
anxiety.
Tại vì con chỉ bước chân là buông
My
bỏ,
steps,
buông bỏ,
yeah,
buông
in
bỏ.
my steps, I
Thật ra và con chỉ mỉm cười,
I silently,
mỉm
yeah,
cười. Và
say to
mình theo
myself,
cái hơi thở và bước chân
smile,
thôi.
smile,
Thì
let go,
con thấy
let
mình
go.
rất là
And I dwell
tự do.
peacefully in my steps.
Dù mình đi có
And
tăng
if
hay
I'm
tăng
able
nhẹ,
to do
đi
so,
một
I
mình,
feel happy, I feel free.
nuôi dưỡng cái đó.
Even
Tại
if
vì
I practice
có những lúc
walking
mình sẽ
meditation
gặp
on
mình
my
rất là
own,
nhiều.
or
Trong
I
những lúc
do
mình gặp
walking
khó khăn,
meditation with the
trong những
Sangha.
lúc mình
And this
cô đơn,
practice helps me
những lúc mình
when I'm lonely or when
rất là
I having
khổ
some
đau và khó
difficult
khăn.
time.
Có những lúc bước chân của mình, nhưng mà bà cũng nên tiếp tục nuôi dưỡng cái đó cho mình.
Yeah, I hope that you continue to
dài ra,
nourish
được
this practice, like
tiếp tục
to
mình nuôi dưỡng
sustain,
hàng ngày.
to maintain
Tại vì
this
mình sẽ không biết
practice
chuyện gì
in
xảy ra với
your
mình.
everyday
Và có
life,
những lúc
because we do not
bước
know
chân
what
của
will
con
happen in the
cũng rất là
future.
nặng.
I know that
Con
sometimes
chỉ
I
cố gắng
touch heaviness in my
lết
steps,
thôi.
and
Mà hai cái
sometimes
bước
I
chân
just
á,
try to
con biết
drag.
cái gì nó đè hai cái chân con đó, con đi
I
con đi
don't
không nổi.
know, yeah,
Mà nó rất
something
là
way
nặng
down
nề đối với con.
in me, and then I
Nhưng
feel the
lúc như vậy
heaviness in my
thì bác
steps.
cứ tiếp tục nuôi dưỡng
But I
cái bước
try
chân của
to
bác.
go back
Nó
to
sẽ giúp
my
bác rất là
mindful
nhiều trên con
steps.
đường
So I'd like
mà bác thực tập và hành trì.
to share with you
Đó là một
and
cái
encourage you to
cái thành nhỏ bé
continue
của
to
con.
maintain
Con
the walking
con xin
meditation
phép
style. It will help
không biết
you
vậy
one
đây
day.
vị sư cô
So that is
có
just
gì
my little
cho lời
insight
thêm
about
thì cứ trả lời.
walking meditation I'd like to share. I wonder if my brothers would like to add.
The feeling that you felt early on during the walking meditation, it's not bad. It's just it's the feeling that we have when our mind is completely silent. As the moment that many we call meditation practitioner want to attend, the silence of the mind. And it comes naturally, without any effort. It should come naturally, without any effort, without you trying to look for that feeling. It should come naturally. Doesn't mean, so walking meditation and mindfulness, it has an object, and only one object is your step. When you walk, you're only aware of your step. And you can combine with your breathing while you're making your step, but not the feeling that you have had before. It's just an effect of being mindful, completely mindful. So don't grasp that feeling, because that feeling is impermanent. It comes, it stays for a while, and it will go. The only thing that you should be aware of is the awareness of your steps that you take and the breath that you take. And just that. You might hop in and hop out that feelings along the way or along the time of practice. But then the thing that keep you back to earth is your step and your breathing. Yeah. Because if we cling to the feeling of the silence that you felt, we will be easily get sidetracked, and we will go further away from the practice, from mindfulness. We are not actually mindful anymore. We are seeking for something else. And it's a natural habit. Our mind is always seeking for pleasure and avoiding suffering, avoiding pain. So that feeling of completely silent in our mind is sometimes very pleasant. And it's trigger our greed, that we want more. But once we've been controlled by that want, we're actually losing it. It's very tricky. And it needs more mindfulness, we need more, to cultivate more mindfulness in order to see clearly, are we still on the track of practice, being mindful? Are we on the track of wanting more of the pleasant feeling that we have a moment ago or a few minutes ago? You're actually running to the past, seeking for something already gone, and you forget that you are walking on this path. There are people walking around you, also practicing mindfulness, also being aware of their steps and their breathing. You forget that the sky is blue and the clouds are passing by. You forget the flowers along the road. You forget the present moment. You're looking for something already gone in the past. So, when you have that feeling again, no matter at what moment in your daily life, in your practice, just recognize it as it is. Don't give a second thought to it. And then when you opt out of that feeling or that state of mind, don't try to go back, but to continue being aware of whatever you are doing, either awareing of your breathing, awareing of your step, awareing of the action that you take when you're cooking, you saute the vegetable, you chopping, whatever it is at the moment. That is my response. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for your listening to our response. I'm sorry, but we need time for the next sessions. Yeah. So if you have questions, please come to our Dharma teachers after this. Yeah. So we would like to end our session here with 3 sounds of the bell. So let us sit upright, relax our necks and shoulders, being aware of our in-breath and out-breath, the rising and falling of our abdomen, while listening to 3 sounds of the bell.